Alright guys, hello again. Just checking in on day 24 of the Seeds for the Future program. I've had a really long day today, but I've just come back from food and I went to get a burger and some chips and it felt so good to have normal Western food again. To be honest with you, I think I mentioned in my last video as well, eating Chinese food all the time does get a bit tiring and it's nice to have something that reminds me of home. Wrapping up the program now and I'm really looking forward to getting back home and getting back to what we'd call normality. I mean, it's been great. I've had a great time in China, but yeah, it does kind of take its toll in some respects, and you do want to get back to your kind of normal way of doing things. But yeah, all in all, it's a great trip, and I've got 3 more days left now, and I'm just gonna really make the most of it, and be in the moment and appreciate this really great opportunity that I've had to come to China and experience everything that I have. So yeah, I've been doing some technical work today, some more site visits, but I'll talk about that in another video. What I really wanted to talk about today was my visit to Hong Kong, which I did over the weekend. I went on Friday night and I came back on Sunday, and I have to say it was a really big culture shock, but not in the way I'd imagine. It was a shock to me at just how similar it was to back home. Some of you might know that Hong Kong was over British rule for a really long time. It's only been independent for like 20 years now, and you are reminded a lot of home when you're there. It kind of had quite a London vibe, a London feel when I was there. Like for example, everyone speaks fairly good English. Everyone can understand you quite well. The signs are in English. They even have like English street names like Devon Road, Gloucester Road, Kent Road, that kind of thing. And yeah, being in Hong Kong, strangely enough, just kind of reminded me how different actual China, like Beijing and Shenzhen is, compared to what I've been used to. I mean, I've been living pretty much in China for a month now, and although there are a few strange things, you do kind of get used to it. You get used to the fact that people don't speak the same language as you. You get used to the fact that you have to walk out of your room every morning and assume that people aren't going to understand what you're talking about. But then you go to Hong Kong and it's different. People understand you. The food's more familiar. Sights are more familiar. It's very easy to get around. Even on the tube, it had a very London feel, and even the energy about the place. There was a lot more kind of. There was a lot better vibe and a lot more frenzied atmosphere, kind of like London. And yeah, it's just reminded me, just shown me how much of a challenge it has been over the past month living here, and also just made me appreciate some of the things about home. Like one of the things I've been telling my friends and family when I get back is that I really hope that when I get off the plane to come back to London, that it's raining and it's really terrible cold weather because it's so humid here and so warm, and it is quite uncomfortable, and especially so in Hong Kong, it was quite bad compared to what it's been like in Shenzhen. So it'd be nice to get back to some cool weather. But yeah, generally Hong Kong was an amazing trip. There's so much to do there that I didn't really get to cover that much in the 2 days, the 3 days and 2 nights that I was there. But I managed to get some really nice views. What I liked about Hong Kong is that you have like a really busy atmosphere where there's a lot of skyscrapers, a lot of buildings in a very concentrated space. But then if you go out about 20 minutes, you go out into what you call the countryside, where there's like a bit of hills, a lot of greenery, and there's a beach. And I was fortunate enough to experience both of those things in my trip. And in that respect, I really like Hong Kong compared to China because you have a bit of both. When you're in Shenzhen or Beijing, there's just a lot of cityscapes and you can't really get out to kind of natural areas, whereas in Hong Kong you do get that. And I feel like if someone's looking to come to Asia and kind of get a decent taste of what Asia's like without getting, really overwhelmed and really outplaced, like Hong Kong's a place to visit. It's kind of like a middle ground between like Asia and the UK. So in that respect, it's great, and I'd really recommend it. I've already decided now that after my visit, I was so impressed. I'd love to come back again and see more of it because there's so much to do. Yeah, as well as going to the beach and seeing the cityscapes. Had a tour around the city. I took a cable car, got a view around the place and saw some ancient monuments, some more Buddhist temples. All in all, it's been amazing. I think so far, Hong Kong has been my favorite part of the trip. And yeah, I'm really grateful once again to have the opportunity to come. Tomorrow is day 25, and that's pretty much the last real day of stuff that I'm doing in China. We're visiting a Huawei, like their main flagship store in Shenzhen. And then we've got like a closing ceremony and a networking event in the evening, and then that's my trip pretty much wrapped up. On Thursday I'm traveling back to Beijing, and on Friday I'm traveling back to the UK. So that pretty much wraps it up. But yeah, I think when I come back I'll do another video with my overall thoughts about my trip and what I've learned and what I've gained. So yeah, that's just me checking in again. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch up again in a few days time once I'm ready to leave.